What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is TheUzigunner, bringing you all the final week of this season's WBE, where I'm going to be going up against none other than my biggest challenge yet, ItzGator of the Florida Gatrs. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, in case you guys do not know, we, the Bullet Punch Club, have finally broken even and are now one victory away from reaching playoffs. Now, before I start, I just want to quickly apologize for all the things that I said in the last few weeks, saying that how differential matters, because unfortunately, guys, it seems that I was kind of out of the loop because, in reality, head-to-head is being, prioritized much more than differential to begin with. So, me kind of playing in such a way where, I would try to win as convincingly as possible in hindsight was probably not the way to go at things. So for that, I'm really sorry, but thankfully though, because of how the situation is, if I do end up winning this match, I will most certainly make it through, and yeah, we'll finally be able to make, what was once considered impossible a reality. So yeah, now, Gator is someone who has very much been on an absolute tear throughout this entire season. Like, he's only lost once, being in his very first week, and since then he just won 11 straight games. So it's pretty impressive, honestly, but you know what? Like I said, I'm here to go down guns a-blazing and try to make sure that if I go down, I go down with absolutely no regret. So let's see what we can do, shall we? So yeah, as far as the team matchup goes, you should be able to see that here and now. And just from team preview alone, it is as clear as day that it is somewhat of a 50-50 on both sides, because realistically speaking, Gator has a considerable amount of threats on his side. And when you consider the fact that his side has Pokemon like Archeops, which actually can really put in the work against me, Frostlass to some extent that is, and especially Mega Heracross, and other Pokemon like Zeraora, it really is something that I need to play very carefully around, because honestly speaking, his Gators team is kind of offensive in the sense that if I give him any chance to recover, he will most certainly make the most out of it and give me a really bad time. So yeah, I just gotta play my cards carefully. So yeah. Before I start, once again, huge shout outs and thanks go to my bro Zazo, who's pretty much been around for me throughout this entire season, and like legitimately he helped me a lot when building this team, and honestly speaking, I owe the world to him. So yeah, love you, my dude. And yeah, let me show you guys what I got here and now. First things first, we have our choice specs. Yes, I'm finally diversifying, guys. Choice specs, Tapu Fini with Moonblast, Surf, Hidden Power Bug, and Shadow Ball. Now, here's the thing. Look at Gator Squad. Now back at my team. Now back at Gator Squad, and back at my team. What do you see? The worst possible answers to this particular set. Like, at best, the only thing he could potentially bring that would be able to, eat some hits here and there would have to be, his Pyukumuku, which honestly speaking, I don't think is gonna come per se. And at the same time, his only other, conceivable answers would be pivoting between Heatran and his Celebi. And honestly speaking, me being modest pretty much ensures the fact that, first of all, Celebi is gonna get two-shotted 100%, and if I go for an HP Bug, it doesn't matter if he's max HP. It is a roll to just outright knock this thing out, although it's in his favor, which honestly speaking is something that I prefer much more. And yeah, like in the grand scheme of things, when you think about it, the moment I just come in with my Fini, I can pretty much just click on these two moves whenever I want, and if the situation is dire and I need to make plays, I can go for this move, which will easily knock out Celebi after one round of Stealth Rocks. And Shadow Ball is here because it pretty much just hits his entire squad, really. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of this set. So yeah, next up we got the Fiend. My Mega Aerodactyl with Stone Edge, Aqua Tail, Earthquake, and Aerial Ace. Now this time I'm running a full-on offensive set, mainly due to the fact that, again, Mega Aerodactyl is a very massive threat on pretty much any team that I go up against, because this thing's offensive prowess as well as its capabilities are so impressive to the point that it can never be slept on per se. So yeah, in that sense, Jolly Aerodactyl is pretty much a must, because it is pretty much the only thing that can outspeed a Zeraora. And Earthquake is here to pretty much guarantee a knockout, especially after a round of Stealth Rocks. Aerial Ace is here because I absolutely detest Heracross. Aqua Tail is here because it just smacks around his Archeops and especially his Donphan, which would be his best switch, and I would assume. And Stone Edge is here because Stab. All in all, this thing is a very huge asset for my squad, and I definitely need to play my cards right with this thing. Next up, we got our Raphael, which is my Eye of Papa Berry Rhyperior with Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Aqua Tail, and Counter. Now, this set is pretty much, this set is very much important in the sense that it kinda accounts for Donphan and also his Archeops to some extent. Because for the former, when you consider my team structure, I don't necessarily have the best answers to this thing, and yes, Rhyperior is not the best answer to Donphan. What it can do, however, is pretty much ensure the fact that if his Donphan ends up being an offensive variant, Aqua Tail will 110% be a 2-shot on this thing, and at the same time, I can pretty much be able to set up my Stealth Rocks too while I'm at it, and be able to go on from there. And this is pretty important because, like, this Pokemon is pretty much my main sort of way of dealing with, or rather, putting things like Donphan in range for my Aerodactyl to pretty much just wreck house here and there, and while it's at it, set up Stealth Rocks here and there. Yeah, the usual type of stuff, honestly speaking. But yeah, this thing is also pretty important in the sense that it is kinda my only Archeops switch-in, because again, I have no Steel types. And when you consider that fact, you are going to realize that Rock Stab absolutely murders me. And in that sense, this is kind of my best answer to this thing, which I don't necessarily am a fan of, but there's nothing I can do about it. So yeah, for the last three Pokemon, we have Chin, which is my Eye of Papa Berry Uxie, with Calm Mind, Psychic, HP Ground, and Signal Beam. These two Pokemon running the same items. And this thing is actually pretty good against them, because Gator's squad is pretty much structured in such a way where offensive Uxie, particularly Calm Mind Uxie, absolutely has a field day against it, because with my speed investment, I'm guaranteed to outspeed Jolly Heracross, and at the same time be able to outspeed a majority of his Pokemon while being able to take hits here and there courtesy of my HP investment, and be able to clap back, really. And this is also pretty nice because Heatran is essentially just set up fodder for this thing, especially when I have the Eye of Papa Berry to help me out, and I will be able to outspeed that thing too while I'm at it. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. And yeah, for the final two Pokemon, we got Wolfsart, which is my Citrus Berry, fully physically defensive Amoonguss with Stomping, Tantrum, Clear Smog, Giga Drain, and HP Flying. And why am I running that much investment on defense? I mean, when you look at his team and you consider the fact that he has Zero Aura and especially his Mega Heracross, this is my best answer. And honestly speaking, like, I got no other choice, because if his Zero Aura ends up being, something akin to Life Orb and goes for a Plasma Fist and then, follows up with the Fire Punch, that's obviously going to be a 2-shot on me. But with the Citrus Berry, that possibility will become an impossibility, unless, of course, he happens to crit me, in which case I still think I could be able to, I would be able to take a hit. I'm not entirely too sure about that. But the fact of the matter is, this thing is the Citrus Berry is very crucial, and at the same time, if the situation calls for it, I can take a Pin Missile from Mega Heracross rather comfortably well before, smacking that thing with an HP Flying, and courtesy of my Citrus Berry, be in a position where if I switch out, I'll be much more healthier. And yeah, this thing needs to be around no matter what, because without this, Pokemon like his Zero Aura, especially Zero Aura, yeah, and his Mega Heracross just outright demolish me. So yeah. Lastly, we got Nakamura, which is my Assault Vest Mienshao with High Jump Kick, Knockoff, U-Turn, and Aerial Ace. And this is kinda like my way of completing this Regenerator core with my Amoonguss. And while this is not entirely a too reliable Pokemon to, regenerate health with, especially when this is not necessarily the most bulky of Pokemon, the fact of the matter is, this kind of completes my team in the sense that I don't necessarily have to worry about, the possibility of a Shuka Heatran, and pretty much, use this as my leeway towards instigating momentum, and while being able to take, hits here and there. Even a Psychic from Celebi will not be able to knock me out. So yeah, unless of course I take a round of Stealth Rocks, in which case I am screwed. So yeah. With that being said, guys, that's going to be all there is to it for this team. Hope you all enjoyed, and with that being said, let us move on into the game. Alright guys, we are back right now, and as you can see, this is what my boy Gator brought against me, and oh my god, this man did not bring any Heatran whatsoever. This is amazing on so many levels, because now I legitimately can click Moonblast without having to worry about a damn thing at all. So yeah, I'm feeling really good vibes after seeing all of that. And honestly speaking, as far as team composition goes, I'm fairly certain that his Archeops could most definitely be something akin to Choice Scarf, while his Celebi is what I seem to be a Nasty Plot variant. But overall, I figured that lead-wise, Tapu Fini would easily be the best one because, again, look at Tapu Fini, now back at his team. Now back at Tapu Fini, now back at his team. What do you see? No Moonblast switching at all. So yeah, with that being said, that's gonna be all there is to it for this monologuing, and let's see how this match goes, shall we? So yeah, I am going to be challenged by Pokemon Trainer Gator, who looks just like me except he has sunglasses on and different hair, as I'm gonna lead off with Primrose, my Tapu Fini, as he leads off with his Berserker, which I assume to be is his Donphan, and yes sir, that does end up being just that, and this is pretty amazing on so many levels because, yeah, unless he wants Mega Aerodactyl to just outright mollywop his squad, he needs to get the hell out of here right now. So, taking this as the perfect chance to just click whatever I want, I'm just gonna go straight for a Moonblast, as he does end up going out into his Frostlass, which I assume was his best switch into this thing, and unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to nab the one-hit KO on this thing, which along with his leftovers does show me that this thing is beyond a shadow of a doubt a bulky variant. So yeah, with a special attack drop, I'm feeling a bit, comfortable with how the situation is, and I'm gonna make an aggressive play by going out into my Mega Aerodactyl, because the thing is, while I definitely could have gone for a Moonblast to knock that thing out, he could have definitely been able to either A, go for a Destiny Bond then and there and be able to knock me out, or B, be able to set up a spike as I nabbed the KO with Moonblast and pretty much get screwed over by Cursed Body, which has been somewhat of a theme for Gator's season, especially in his match against Zoder. So yeah, in the end I figured that getting the Mega Evolution off would definitely be my best play, as he is just gonna pretty much stay in and go straight for an Ice Shard and be able to get a decent chunk of damage off on me, which honestly speaking is fine because yeah, I'm gonna be able to take out the only conceivable party member he has, which can actually just come in on a high jump kick from me and Xiao at save his Celebi, which I don't think he would want to bring in per se, especially when I can click U-turn anytime I want. So yeah, I'm feeling really good right now, and unfortunately, I ended up getting very greedy and chose to go straight for an Aqua Tail here now because I thought that he would want to go straight for a Stealth Rock, but no! Gator shows the Rocky MZ animation, and it is at this moment that I realize just how horrible of a play I made. And this is really bad because, again, look at Gator's squad and look back at mine. He has very little answers to Mega Aerodactyl, and the fact that I'm just letting this thing die here and now to, in case you guys didn't notice it, a Continental Crush is horrible on so many levels because with my Mega Aerodactyl dropping, I lose my source of, the biggest offensive pressure I could apply on this thing, and yeah, that really sucks on a lot of levels, as now I'm pretty much gonna go out into my Tapu Fini and pretty much nab my next skill here and now because, again, unless he has a Death Wish, he is definitely not gonna switch out into any of his party members. Moonblast obliterates them, saves Celebi, which definitely could have come in, but I had a feeling he was not gonna do that. But yeah, I'm gonna be able to take out his Donphan, which honestly speaking was not worth the trade for my Mega Aerodactyl, and yeah, it is at this moment that I realize that the momentum of this match is kind of shifting to his favor because now I'm pretty much gonna be forced to be on the defensive and try to beat him in this position because yeah, as far as the offense goes, Fini is pretty much my biggest source of it right now, when in reality my team composition was supposed to work in such a way where my Fini and my Mega Aerodactyl would complement one another. So yeah, I'm gonna go out into my Wolfstar, pretty much take whatever hit he wants to go for, really, as he goes straight for a Plasma Fist into a Fire Punch, which definitely could have been a two-shot on me, but since I have the Citrus Berry, I'm going to be able to chew that just fine, and go straight for a Stomping Tantrum, as he reveals that he is a Sugar Berry variant, which I definitely did not expect at all. If anything, I thought that he would be either Expert Bell variant or a Life Orb variant, with the latter being the most likely one I felt, but yeah, here he's gonna make a very smart play by choosing to go out into his Mega Heracross, as I'm gonna go for another Stomping Tantrum, thinking he'd want to stay in, which honestly speaking was probably the rational play to make then and there, honestly speaking, because yeah, there was nothing stopping him from going for a Fire Punch and anything along those lines. So yeah, here I'm definitely gonna be forced to get the hell out of here and go straight out into my Tapu Fini because I did my calcs. I can live I can live a Pin Missile just fine and be able to, retaliate then and there with a Moonblast, which definitely is good because, again, he doesn't necessarily have the best responses to that thing, as he is going to get his Mega Evolution off. He is going to opt to go straight for a Pin Missile, which you're going to see do absolutely piss poor damage because, yeah, like, I mean, it is going to do a decent chunk of damage, I guess you could say, but definitely not enough for me to be really concerned with, because after all of this, I'm the one that, you know, has the offensive pressure on him here and now. So yeah, not necessarily having anything to lose. I'm pretty much just gonna go straight for a Moonblast here and now. I did my calcs. It definitely knocks out most Mega Heracross variants, but unfortunately, it does not knock out this variant, which definitely left me surprised on so many levels because, yeah, like, even if he was max HP with max special defense with, you know, a special defense boosting nature, especially after stomping Tantrum, I would say that Moonblast was definitely a roll to knock him out, and by the looks of it, it seems that I ended up getting a very low roll, which kinda sucks, not gonna lie, because, yeah, I just lost my biggest source of offensive, you know, momentum on him, which, really blows, but at the same time, I don't necessarily think matters in the grand scheme of things, especially when his remaining Pokemon just outright outspeed that thing, and after the Pin Missile damage, he is gonna be able to knock me out with pretty much anything else, really. But yeah, he's gonna go out into Zeraora and take a Psychic from my Uxie, which I definitely found rather surprising because, like, as of now, this Pokemon, along with his, Archeops, is easily his biggest source of offensive pressure against me, so here I'm gonna pretty much just go out into my Rhyperior this time around and then just opt to pivot out into my Amoonguss, because what I'm trying to do here is position myself in such a way where I'm gonna be able to, you know, scare the Zeraora out and pretty much try to make myself as healthy as I possibly can be. So yeah, that is gonna work out as he reveals the Grass Knot, which I expected, and you know, and it is at this point that I opt to go straight for another Stomping Tantrum again. In hindsight, that probably was not the best play to go for, like, especially when Giga Drain was also a very free move to go for to begin with, as he goes out into his Archeops and opts to go for a U-turn, which leads me to believe that this thing could definitely be Choice Scarf. I stayed in because I had a feeling that he would definitely click that move, especially when I have a Rhyperior on my side of the field, and I'm kind of behind to begin with. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to go for a Clear Smog here, making an aggressive play and trying to catch the Celebi. And it kind of sucks that it replaced, you know, Sludge Bomb last second for a Stomping Tantrum, but it is what it is. This was my best move to go for, I felt, especially when it has a Heatran on his side, as here I'm gonna opt to go out into my Uxie, thinking he would want to either set up or do pretty much anything akin to, you know, like, setting up Stealth Rocks or anything, but instead he goes for a U-turn, which definitely left me rather surprised, as he goes out in his Archeops. I'm gonna predict him to U-turn out into Celebi, as unfortunately he misses, which really sucks, not gonna lie. If he had connected his Head Smash, it could have definitely knocked me out for sure, but it was a roll at the end of the day, so yeah, in that sense, it still blows though, like, not gonna lie, like, I didn't deserve to get this sort of luck at all, so yeah, I'm really sorry for that, as here he's gonna opt to go for a U-turn, which reveals to me that this thing is definitely not Choice Scarf, and it is at this moment that I realized just how big, you know, my blunder was of sacking off my Mega Aerodactyl so early on, because had this thing been around, it just outright would do so much damage to him, it's not even funny, so yeah. Gator is gonna now make a very good play by opting to double out into his Mega Heracross, expecting me to want to go out into my Amoonguss, since that was my best switch into his Zeraora to begin with. And it is at this moment in time that I'm kind of forced to go out into pretty much, you know, my Mian Xiao, because first of all, it is my most expendable party member, and at the same time, if he goes for a Pin Missile, I can actually live the hit. So definitely some leeway on that, I guess you could say, as yeah, he's gonna opt to go for a Pin Missile. Unfortunately, he gets a crit turn 1, and this is pretty bad, because if he gets another high roll, he could actually be able to knock me out, or even, you know, through a crit. So yeah, Nakamura thankfully is not gonna die to this Pin Missile, which is a massive relief for me, because had he been able to knock me out then and there, I don't think I would have been able to come out as a victor, because yeah, at this point in time, I need to, you know, prioritize my Pokemon in such a way where I can get the edge on him courtesy of pivoting, and in that sense, my Amoonguss and my Mian Xiao are my best sources of that, especially when I have Regenerator. So yeah, not necessarily having any choice on the matter, I'm gonna opt to go out in my Wolf's Art, expecting him to go for a U-turn again, because again, as long as I have a Rhyperior, he has every reason to always go for that move then here and now. So yeah, in that sense, I don't necessarily regret my play at all. As he brings out his Celebi again, and this is pretty bad because again, I need to get my Baton out of here. If I let my Amoonguss die, Zeraora just wins then and there, like, no questions asked. So yeah, so Yuxi is gonna be my best switch into this thing. I could have definitely gone into my Mian Shao, but at the same time, honestly speaking, I didn't necessarily want to give that thing up then and now, especially when I don't even know what his Celebi set could possibly be. So yeah, out comes the Archeops again. It's really, and honestly speaking, this is really putting in a lot of pressure on me, and I don't appreciate that at all, as here I'm just gonna opt to go out in my Raphael thinking he'd want to go for acrobatics, especially when I've been showing that I've been adamantly just going straight out into anything but this Pokemon, and as thankfully this gamble is gonna work off here and now, and it is at this moment that I'm worried about him having an Aqua Tail or something along those lines, because if he did, he would have definitely been able to knock me out here and now, but thankfully he does not. He opts to go for a U-turn, as I pretty much take this as the chance to go for an Aqua Tail in case he did, because yeah, he always could have missed that move, but he opts to go out into Zero Aura, and I barely miss out on the KO, and yeah, like once again, the pressure is entirely on me, and the only thing I can do is just pretty much make defensive plays. Yeah, I definitely could have set up my Stealth Rocks here and now, which in hindsight was probably the better play, but at the same time, I didn't necessarily think that was the best play to make at that time, which is definitely on me, as he's pretty much just gonna resign to his fate of sacking off his Zero Aura. I'm gonna take the Fire Punch just fine and go for a Giga Drain and be able to nab my KO and pretty much just get 1 HP off that Zero Aura of his, as yeah, we're going to be able to take out the Pokemon, one of his main Pokemon that was applying the most pressure on me. But the problem is, his last two Pokemon is his Archeops and his Celebi, both of which can win the game on its own despite the 2-4 lead that I have right now. So yeah, that really sucks, as here I'm pretty much just going to go out into my Rhyperior, praying to God that the spike damage along with what I seem to be acrobatics would be enough to put me in iPop Berry range, as he does end up doing just that. And thankfully, Raphael is going to be able to take that hit like a boss, pop that son of a bitch off, which is the Eye of Papa Berry, and it is at this moment in time that I have absolutely nothing stopping me from going straight for a Stealth Rock, especially when this obnoxious piece of garbage is applying so much pressure on me. I need Rocks up ASAP, and I need them now. So yeah, I'm gonna go straight for my Stealth Rocks here, as he opts to go straight out into his Celebi, and it is at this moment in time that I pretty much just choose to go out into my Yuxi. Again, he could definitely go for a U-turn again, but the fact of the matter is, first of all, it's gonna pop my berry, and second of all, Archeops switch-ins are gonna be limited as hell, courtesy of my Stealth Rock. So yeah, that's pretty amazing, as he chooses to lock himself into Psychic. I did my calcs, I can actually live one just fine, as unfortunately he snags a crit on me, but thankfully Chin Chin, the Dark Lord, is gonna end up coming through and pop the Eye of Papa Berry up, as I will be able to immediately knock this obnoxious piece of garbage out with a Signal Beam. So yeah, down goes the Celebi, and the only Pokemon remaining would have to be his Archeops, and again, Archeops can still win on its own. Like, this thing is so much of a threat. It depends on how much damage it takes, and as unfortunately he's not going to be able to, he's not going to get put in defeatist range, as he does end up going for an acrobatics. Chin Chin lives at 1. I go straight for a Psychic, and just like that, he is finally in defeatist. The Dark Lord coming through, ladies and gentlemen, as there is no way in hell I'm letting this thing die, especially after all the work that it put in for my team. So, sorry Nakamura, but you are going to have to take the L on this one. I'm going to go straight out into that, as he opts to knock me out with an acrobatics. And with that being said, because of him being in defeatist range, my Amoonguss, my Rhyperior, both take both take any hit just fine. So, I'm gonna go out into my Amoonguss here and now. Even if he gets a crit, he will not be able to knock me out, as he goes for one final acrobatics. That is not gonna get the job done. And with this Giga Drain, ladies and gentlemen, the Bullet Punch Club has beaten the Florida Gatrs and is now in playoffs. Holy shit! So yeah, first things first, huge GG's to my boy Gator. Like, oh my god, this match was so competitive in a lot of ways. Like, there were so many 50-50s here and there, and while this match definitely ended earlier than other matches, the fact is, if you see a live narration, like, the clock was very much just going down to like 5 minutes-ish. The clock pretty much just went down to 5 minutes before the game just ended. So, like, yeah, you were really thinking hard throughout the entire game, and to finally be able to face him in this platform was something that I consider a huge honor. So, GG, my man. Like, this was a very fun game, and I definitely look forward to facing you again which just so happens to be in the round 1 of playoffs. Oh boy. But that's fine. Honestly speaking, this has been nothing but a roller coaster of emotions through and through. To finally be able to, take this team, which was 0-5 right now, and finally be able to reach playoffs with it, despite everything that happened, was something that, it's honestly an overwhelming feeling, honestly. And it just makes me all the more grateful to be a part of this, and especially all the support that you guys have been showing me throughout this entire journey. I'm gonna be honest with you guys right now. Draft format has been something that I kind of fell out of love with for quite a while right now, but to finally be able to do this again after a couple of months of hiatus, and when what quite possibly is the biggest league ever in draft format, and having you guys be so supportive of me, be around to wish me well, and telling me that I can still get the job done. This whole experience has been nothing that I'm gonna greatly value for as long as I keep doing this. So honestly speaking, guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. So, if anything, you guys, Zazo, and everybody else who's been around to push me on are just as responsible for me finally being able to make this all happen. And I'm just grateful. So, thank you all thank you all so much for all the support. And the Bullet Punch Club is in the playoffs. I can't believe it. I'm not gonna necessarily keep rambling on and repeating myself over and over again, so I'm gonna cut this short here and now. Regardless, just know I'm really grateful for everything, guys. Love you all, and let's see how far we can go, shall we? So, either way, my name is TheUzigunner. Thank you very much for watching. Have yourselves a glorious day, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Bish!